another week with yours truly. That's right, it is your girl, Michelle Green, right here in the flesh, coming in to talk to you about credit and financial tips. We are Kingdom Builders Credit Repair, and we are here to talk to you every single Friday from 12 to 12:30 about different topics related to credit and related to finances. And today we are going to do a credit and financial special tips with a questionnaire perspective. So, from the perspective of the questions that you all have every single time when it relates to your credit and it relates to your finances. So, before we get into that, what I like to do is start by just thanking you for being here again. And if you are not a subscriber, I want you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And why do I want you to hit the subscribe button? Not just because we want you to be a part of our community, not just because we want viewers and people to follow us. It is really because we are an educational platform. We teach you about the real deal as it relates to credit. We teach you how to play the credit game. We give you strategies and tips regarding your credit and your finances. We want you to be empowered to have financial dominion on purpose. That is our whole slogan and goal for every single person that views this channel. So it's not just about, it's not actually about at all the viewers or the people coming in, and because everybody wants social media to be this platform that they can just reach the world on, it is really about your benefit. I am doing this actual show because we want you to be empowered for real. We want you to have financial dominion. We want you to be able to take over your credit. We want you to be able to do the things that you need to do with your finances and your credit. And you can't do that without education. Everything that we learn in this world starts with a foundation of education. So, what am I doing? I am here to give you that foundation of education around credit and finances. So, listen, that's why I want you to subscribe. So make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button at the top of the page or the bottom of the page or wherever it is, somewhere around in here. Okay, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and that you also set your notifications so that when we go live, even if you forget or if you don't get any emails or text messages or notifications on social media that we are live, guess what? The notification will allow you to know that we are going live in that moment. So you will not miss a episode of the Kingdom Builders Credit Repair TV show. And did you know that we also have a podcast that if you missed the actual show, if you aren't able to watch us, if you're at work and you're not able to watch us, then you can actually go and listen to the KBCR podcast. That's right. We are located on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts and Amazon Music. So you can actually listen into everything that we are talking about, and you can comment, you can like, you can respond, and we will respond to your messages. Okay, so today what we're doing is something that's a little bit different. It's a little bit different in the sense that we are going to accept some comments. We are going to accept some questions, rather. We want to hear from you guys and see exactly what it is that you guys want to have, want to talk about, have a question about. So today we're doing the credit and financial tips with yours truly as a questionnaire. So what are some of the questions that you have in your mind around credit, around finances? And please be courteous of others. We don't want to just come on here and just be a disturbance. We want to come on here and ask real questions because there are people who want to know exactly what's going on with their finances and with their credit, and they want the answers. So we are here to provide those questions and those answers for you. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to allow you guys to go ahead and make a question or create a question. If you have a question about your credit, if you have a question about your finances, I want you to be thinking about what that is. And I want you to ask me so that I can answer those questions for you. And if I don't have the answer, then guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get the answer for you. And I will get back with you personally to make sure that that answer is the right answer. Okay, but before we get into the questionnaire, let's do this. Let's talk about what is credit. Credit is your ability to be able to borrow money from a financial institution of some sort so that you are able to get the things that you need and get the things that you want. Well, what are some of the things that we need and want? Of course, we want to have a stable place of living. We want to buy houses. We want to possibly get our transportation in check by having the right vehicle. We want to get some credit cards in place and department store cards because what do we want to do? We want to be able to buy our clothes and our shoes and our accessories and some nice hats and watches and all of this accessories that we have. We want to handle our grooming. So when it comes to credit, no matter what it is that we are in need of, what we want to understand is that when it relates to credit, we are going to have to borrow if we don't have the cash. And the majority of us, I would say probably about 99.9% of us, don't have enough cash, or we don't work a job or have a business that produces enough money for us to take care of all of the expenses of things that we have or that we want. So therefore, we go to a financial institution and we say, hey, I want you to run my credit. Here's my social security number. And I want you to tell me how much I can borrow based on my reputation, based on whatever it is that I have going on. So, as it relates to our credit, we want to understand that credit is all about the ability to be able to borrow money that we don't have right now today, that we can actually go and ask a financial institution, can they lend us the money and then we pay it back over installments. So I never want to assume that everybody understands what credit is and how it works, but that is the simplest way to understand is that banks and credit unions or any type of financial lending institution has the ability to allow you to borrow a certain amount of money in exchange for you to pay them back over a period of time. So, what we are going to do now is we're going to open up the platform for you guys to ask the question. So, who wants to ask a question? I'm thinking about since while we're waiting for someone to ask a question about credit and finances, I'm just going to kind of talk about some of the frequently asked questions as it relates to credit. So, one of the things that we start out with, or that we hear a lot of in Kingdom Builders Credit Repair, is we hear a lot about, well, what is credit repair exactly? Credit repair is when you have made some mistakes on your credit, or maybe you intentionally decided that you just weren't going to pay a creditor back. And when you decided that you weren't going to pay that creditor back, you have a what is called a late payment on your credit. You have what is called a charge off write off that happens only after you have been late consecutively 6 times for 6 months in a row. Okay, so 6 months in a row, you've been late. Every 30 days, you didn't pay the bill, and it begins to go into what is called a charge off. So, that is what we consider something that needs to be repaired on your credit. Then we look at the collection accounts. So, the collection accounts only happen after you have been late for 6 months consecutively, and your credit is not actually in good standing when that happens. So, when we have a late payment, what we do want to understand is that late payments will produce a debit or a deduction of 50 points from our credit score. So if you have a late payment, if you're trying to figure out, like, I don't really know what credit repair is going to do for me. Credit repair is going to help you to get rid of some late payments, anything that's inaccurate, anything that's a duplicate, and anything that is basically hurting your credit score in a way of having a late payment that costs you 50 points. That also could be a charge off write off that's going to cost you a 75-point deduction, and a collection account that's going to take away over 100 points from your credit. Did you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth right now? I'm trying to tell you that this is not like a small deal. So we got to understand exactly what it is as it relates to our credit and how to make sure that we are in a credit repair program, a not just any old program, but a credit repair program that actually cares about your credit, that cares about your well-being overall, and not is just there to try to dispute items that maybe aren't really items that need to be disputed. Did you know that in credit repair, that one of the things that we do here is we carefully look at every single detail of every account that you have established on your credit to make sure that it is something that needs to be disputed. There are companies that will take your credit and they will look at it and they will just automatically start putting in dispute investigations that could actually hurt you. For example, if you have a account that is established and let's say it's an open account, but someone disputes that account for a permanent deletion and it ends up being challenged with the original creditor, that company could initially just close your account simply because you disputed the account that was open and active just because there may have been a couple of late payments on it. See, you got to know what exactly you're doing as it relates to credit repair. So, one of our frequently asked questions is, why do I need credit repair? You may need credit repair because credit repair is something that everybody needs, even if your credit is good, even if your credit is in good standing. Listen, we are talking about so many different things that as it relates to credit, this is something that we need to understand that is not a joke. We need to understand that it is something that everybody can benefit from, because as it relates to being able to challenge a late payment, challenge a charge off write off, challenge a collection account, or even a public record. When we look at public records are those things that have to go to court and have to be seen before a judge. And when we have a public record, listen, that public record is a real big issue around our credit because it's over 100 to 200, almost 200 points of a deduction from our credit score. So let's go into, I believe we have a comment here from, is it Amira? Okay, it says, "Hi, Miss Green. You helped me a few years ago and changed my life completely. Thank you for everything." Oh, hello, Ivy. Hello, it's Ivy. Hey, yes, I remember you. Thank you for watching and thank you for sharing this comment with us. Listen, if you are thinking about something as it relates to credit and finances, I want you to go ahead and put your question below so that we can actually talk about exactly what you have a question about and answer your question. But I just want to say shout out to Mr. Ivy. Hey, thank you so much for being a part of Kingdom Builders Credit Repair. And we are so grateful that you joined our program, and you were able to receive the benefits and privileges of having a good credit score and going forward, keeping and maintaining that credit score. That's one of the things that we talk about all the time, is that the fact that when we have credit repair services, it shouldn't be that you're going back into credit repair right away, because once you come through our program, which is, by the way, a 12-month service, once you get out of our program, you should be able to sustain your credit. Your credit should be able to be maintained. Your credit should be able to be maintained for a certain period of time. But we do know that life happens. And when life happens, what happens is that you might need to come back after some years or after some times that mistakes happen, but you don't need to come back right away. So I just want to thank all of the Kingdom Builders Credit Repair clients, people that have collaborated with us, like the real estate agents and the lenders. I just want to thank you all for being a part of Kingdom Builders Credit Repair, because listen, we are super excited that you have been able to benefit and gain high credit scores and keep those scores up right here at Kingdom Builders Credit Repair. Yes, Ivy, I remember you. Hey, you are so funny. You are so funny. But thank you for making this comment, and thank you for being a part of KBCR. All right. Do we have any other questions out there? If not, I'm going to go into another question that is commonly asked about credit. One of the questions that is commonly asked about credit is, how long does it take to get something deleted from our credit? Okay, so as it relates to something being removed from your credit, if you are a company or a organization that is doing things the right way, I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be removed within a week. So that's 7 days. It is not going to be removed in 7 days. Also, if you are thinking about credit, you are looking at, it's not going to be 14 days. It's not going to be, probably not even 20 days. So when it relates to how long it takes for something to be deleted from your credit, what happens is, something deleted from your credit is going to take, with Kingdom Builders Credit Repair, it's going to take 30 to 45 days. Why is it going to take 30 to 45 days? Because if you're doing it legally by federal law, and if you're doing it the correct way, then the credit bureaus actually run a 30 to 45-day cycle of disputing any negative accounts. So the way that we work is we go through the legal ramifications. We are not trying to take the shortcuts and be out of business, which is why we have been in business for over 30 plus years. So what I want you to know about credit is this: it is going to take you a little bit of time, just like it took you a little bit of time to get into the equation of credit. It's going to take you a little bit of time to get out of the situation with your credit. So don't expect something to happen overnight, because that's not how it works. If you took 2 years to get into the situation that you're in and your credit score just dropped, and you're trying to figure out, like, I don't know how in the world I'm going to get out of this situation, then you can come on over to Kingdom Builders Credit Repair, and you might be surprised at your turnaround time, because every single person has a different situation with their credit. What happens is, we have different timelines as to what is going to be deleted in a particular timeline. So we don't want to assume that just because somebody else was done in a month or two's time, that we're going to have the same exact scenario when we have like 25 to 30 items on our credit. And I'm including not just the accounts, but I'm talking about your inquiries. You may have inquiries where you apply for credit that are 2 points per company. And you also may have information on your profile that is incorrect, and that also can be disputed. So a lot of times when people dispute information from their credit, they're not actually looking at the fact that, okay, it's not just about the negative accounts. So it's not just about those late payments. It's not just about the charge off write offs. And it's not just about the collection accounts and the public records. So we got to understand that if we have more items on our credit, that it may take us a longer period of time for our credit to clear. And that's absolutely okay over here at Kingdom Builders Credit Repair. So we want to make sure that you guys get the best service possible as it relates to credit repair. So don't rush your process. Take your time and walk through it, especially as it relates to those of you who are out there to purchase your first home, your second home. Maybe you want to refinance, you want to get a home equity line of credit so you can pull some equity out of your house, or maybe you're not even interested in buying a home. Maybe you just want a really good credit score that whenever you go out to get credit, that you have the access that you want. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But we position everybody, every single client that comes through Kingdom Builders Credit Repair is positioned for a credit score of 700 and higher. Did you know that credit scores range between 300 and 850? That's our next frequently asked question. What is the highest credit score that we can have? The highest credit score that you can have is an 850 if you are looking at the real credit score. Now, here's another question around credit scores that I get. Is it okay for me to check with Credit Karma or Credit Wise or freecreditscore.com or my FICO? Is it okay for me to continue to check my credit? And as it relates to checking our credit, we are just going crazy around this idea to check our credit. Okay. And we feel like we got to check the credit every single day. So I want you guys to hear me and hear me well as I say this. Okay. We should not be checking our credit all the time. As a matter of fact, we should not be even checking our credit unless it's through the real credit reporting agency, which is for our credit scores, myfico.com. So that's spelled myfico.com. That's right. F is in Frank, ICO myfico.com. MyFICO.com is the real credit scoring system that was originally created years ago. I want to say like in the 19 something, early 1900s. MyFICO created a system, a numerical system that would allow them to check out your credit reports and see what accounts were on your credit reports in order for them to give you a numerical number, just like a report card for the kids. It's a numerical number that will rate your credit. And that number is what most creditors and lenders are going to go by as it relates to being able to figure out what your credit score is so that they can decide whether or not they want to give you credit. So if you don't have a really good credit score and one that is closer or above 700 so that you can be in the excellent range of having a good credit score, then guess what? That's going to be a problem for you to go just anywhere and get what you need. So that's why Kingdom Builders Credit Repair was created. So we can solve this problem for you. Get your credit back to 700 or over 700 for the first time. It is possible, y'all. We've been doing this for over 30 plus years. And in the 30 plus years, I'm trying to tell you right now, it has been an awesome opportunity to be able to help so many millions of people that have had issues with their credit. Okay, so as it relates to your credit score, you have to understand that if you're checking the credit on a regular basis, that is a no-no. Okay, that is not something that you want to do as it relates to your credit. Now, is there anybody else out there that has any questions, or are you learning anything from what I'm sharing today? Is there anybody out there that has a question about their credit and finances or want to make a comment about the services that we provided for you to excel your credit score? If so, go ahead and type in your comment right now. All right. So, one of the things, like I said, around credit is checking our credit score. We don't want to keep checking our credit score on a regular basis. If you are going to check your credit, then what you want to do is check the credit at least, I would say, only once a month. Why once a month, Michelle? Because once a month is the timeline for when most of your credit scores are going to update. Your creditors are not going to be sending information to the credit bureaus or to the credit monitoring, the credit score model, my FICO. They're not going to be updating any information on a day to day basis. They only do that one time in 30 to 45 days. So that's why we have a bill cycle. That's why we have a due date. And if you notice that all credit runs in a 30-day cycle. So as credit runs in a 30-day cycle, then guess what? You're not going to get an update from every single creditor every single day. So why are you checking your credit all the time? Do you know that this is a pattern? And the pattern is that people who check their credit all the time are usually the ones that have the low credit scores. Because when it relates to people who have good credit scores, like yours truly, listen, we ain't looking at our credit at all. We are just waiting until the timeline of when we are supposed to go and get whatever it is that we want to get, whether it's a vehicle, a house, a personal loan, a credit card, a department store card, or whatever kind of credit that exists that of something that we need or something that we want, and we go and we just apply for it in that moment. We are not looking at our credit scores to see before we go, oh, I need to check and see if my credit is still up. No, we don't need to do that. When you have a good credit score, you just go and get what you need because you know that you haven't done anything outside of the realm of causing your credit score to drop. Now, does it mean that we are never going to have identity thieves to steal our credit? Absolutely not, because I have been a victim myself of identity theft. So has my husband, and so have some of my kids. But that does not mean that you're going to need to check the credit all the time and you're never going to have any type of identity theft. But if you happen to have LifeLock, LifeLock is a company that allows you to keep track of anything that is suspicious where someone might be applying for something randomly that is not you. They can alert you in real time, live real time, to let you know whether or not, if this is yours, then you would select yes, that you applied for it. And if you didn't, then all you have to do is select no. And you can go right to LifeLock. And I believe their services are only like about $20 a month, $15 to $20 a month. There might even be a plan that's like $10 a month. But the point is that if you are trying to protect your credit, you don't have to check the credit scores or check the credit reports all the time. I mean, once a month is good enough because the changes aren't going to happen very more often than that. So I just want you guys to know that, hey, this is a lot of the frequently asked questions around credit. And if you learned something today, you need to go on over to Kingdom Builders Credit Repair and click that at the bottom of the website. It says, Let's Talk. So I want to talk to you. I am the founder of Kingdom Builders Credit Repair, and I would love to talk to you about your specific credit. Just ask my clients. They know that I don't go without talking to my clients personally. I am that CEO. I know a lot of people feel like if you're the founder, you're the CEO, you shouldn't be dealing with the people at the bottom of the totem pole. Well, I don't consider my clients at the bottom of the totem pole. I consider my clients the cream of the crop. And I believe in the connection and collaboration with every single person that God has allowed us to connect with. I believe in making sure that our products and services are the best for your benefit. So that's what we do here at Kingdom Builders Credit Repair. And I thank you guys for your comments, for your questions. Even if you have questions from watching the replay, go ahead and put that question below because we will still be watching this episode of Kingdom Builders Credit Repair and answering your questions to the best of our ability or getting an answer for you. Listen, again, make sure that you are subscribed because Kingdom Builders Credit Repair is on a platform that is streamed to 3.6 billion viewers all over the world. And we want to make sure that your credit and your finances are intact in the most utmost right way so that you can benefit and do all the wonderful things that finances and credit can give you. All right, until next week, next Friday, make sure that you're locked in, that you never ever miss another episode of the KBCR TV show and podcast. And I will see you guys next time. All right, bye bye. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care, everyone. See you later, alligator in a wild crocodile.